Folks, we're doing it again. We've decided to come back together, the two meeting of the minds across the internet. Jack and Jake. Jake and Jack, folks. This is the Jake Silverman Show. Welcome back, folks. We love you. We need you in our lives. Thank you so much for joining us today. How's everybody doing? Life is a grand, mysterious adventure that's a fractal constantly unfolding in front of your eyes, baby, with a giant eraser coming behind you as it fucking wipes away any little progress you made until you die, and then your line in history erased, all right? So this podcast is my pen mark into the fucking world, you know? Until the internet goes down, this is here to stay, all right? This is my ancient cave drawing, dude. These are my handprints on the caves of France, folks. Me and those people, the same amount of artistry, okay? Bam! I'm here to stay. This is who I am. It's this fucking podcast. And you guys are listening to it. And thank you so much. Jack, how's life? How's everything going?
Oh, it's going great.
Yes.
Thank you.
You have a house that's sinking in to itself.
No, not really, but we had a leak this weekend in the roof.
Folks, I don't know if we ever
alarming.
gave Jack... We never gave Jack an official congratulatory moment, but Jack bought him and his lady a house, okay? He is a homeowner, and you're fixing it up. It's a fixer-upper. Can we say that?
Yeah, big time, yeah.
So you own it. It's in Wyoming.
Yep.
And you got a roof leak, and you got new floors you got to get done. But eventually, it'll be you and a lady and a dog as God intended.
Yes.
Okay? That's the American dream right there. You're living it. You, a woman and a dog in a rustic house out on the plains of Wyoming. Beautiful.
That's about right, yeah.
Can't really get much better than that, Jack. I mean, truly.
If any listeners ever are in Wyoming and want to stay with me, hit me up.
Okay, there we go. Now, wow, already offering his home. You can stay right under that leak, okay? Your mouth can be the water bucket that fucking drips into, all right?
Yeah, I need hands. I need some help over there.
Yeah, well, if I'm ever back in the van, which most likely I will be, not too shortly, if New York keeps going like this, I'll be out there, baby. You can pay me in Ritz crackers and fucking juice boxes, all right? Just keep me fed. I'll be the town comedian. I'll just do those shows that I was supposed to do that one time. And, that'll be that. I'll be the guy out there. I'll be the funniest guy. And that's not true. There's got to be so many funny locals, so many town drunks out in Lander.
Yeah.
I'll probably be the 17th funniest person in Lander, Wyoming.
I think you do a little
least.
better than that, but...
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of the pictures you sent to me of those bars, I was like, there's going to be some funny fuckers in here. They've lived a real life.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, fuck, dude. That's good. Well, congratulations on the house.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you. It's good that you're doing well. One person on this podcast has to be doing well, and it just happens to not be the face of the podcast. It's the behind-the-scenes guy. But one of us, it would be sad if both of us were on my level. It would be kind of pathetic if you were just like also doing this from a bunker with no love or success in your life, So it's good that you're climbing for us, and I'll try to hop on those coattails up that ladder, okay? Because, I'm looking around this tiny room, and it ain't getting any bigger. Honestly, if it leaked, maybe I could get some money. Maybe I could move out. I'm hoping for a leak,
Yeah.
Maybe. That's all I really have is like some type of industrial accident to give me a nice little payout. That's kind of where I'm at right now, is industrial accident waiting to happen might be my ticket. Or like maybe get hit by a bus or a train.
Yeah, city bus, that'd be a big payout probably.
Big, nice little MTA payout. I'm crossing, get hit by a bus, potential 5 to 6 figure settlement. That could be okay. That could be something.
I don't think you want to get hit by a train, though.
Not a train. A train you're probably not surviving. But I've been looking at those buses in a squirrely way. I'll tell you that. I've been looking at some buses being like, how could I like ding off the side where I didn't really get hurt, but enough that it was like we need to pay this guy to keep quiet, I'll take an out-of-court settlement. I'm not even looking to make your name. I'm not trying to ruin the brand. I'm just trying to get what Daddy wants.
Oh, yeah, definitely settle.
Settle out of court, here's $40,000. I could take
it.
Take it, move on. Just a nice $40,000 in New York is not even middle class, but it would be a king's ransom for me. I could live off that for years in my current expenses. I could really do a lot with that. So, yeah, man, those are the things. And yeah, at no point has it just been like, oh, you could get a job. Now it's all about the grift, the scam. So we'll see. We'll see if anybody. Also, if there's some type of bus driver where we split the diff. Willing to do that too, because then I'd have more control over the situation where I'd be like, all right, he's going to slow down, but I'm still going to get hit.
Inside job.
Little inside job, all right? And I see some of these MTA workers, they have desperation in their eyes. They're not fucking living the high life, all right? It's always funny when you hear somebody's blocking the train door and the guy who's on the loudspeaker has to, he snaps. He'll just be like, get the fuck out of the way of the door. Like he's not the all decorum of being a public transit employee goes out the window, and he's just like, yeah, I'm from New York, and if I find who's blocking the door, I will throw you on the tracks myself. I am tired of this shit. Hunter, my buddy Hunter, former guest of the pod, told me that there's a TikTok trend where teenagers just bum rush the driver's door and take over the loudspeaker and just yell shit on the loudspeaker. That's a viral trend in New York City, that kids just, 5 of them just break open the door where the conductor is and just go, and then they run away and laugh. Kids, man.
Wow.
New York kids are different, bro. These kids are fucking wilding out here. Oh, it's
They
fun.
can get in that door?
Yeah. A lot of the doors don't even, I don't know if they lock.
Really?
For some reason, they didn't learn from 9/11 out here. I thought all doors are supposed to lock on any type of moving transportation, but yeah. Isn't it crazy when you get on a bus that you'd be like, you could just be like, I could just hit the driver in the face right now. There's nothing protecting the driver on a bus. There's no he's not in a sealed compartment.
No.
He's just open. And while he's driving, you could just come up behind him and just move the wheel, and that's it. There's nothing.
Buses are always the most Wild West too. Crazy people.
Yeah. Buses, goddamn, I know. I remember when I was a bus guy in Portland, you're just ugh, no thanks. But I haven't had to take a bus out here. The buses out here, I think, are the lowest level. If you're on the buses, it's damn, you live in these no man lands where the trains don't run. You have to that's
exactly.
You don't want to be out there. That's the ghost towns and shit. So the one time I took a bus in New York City, I wasn't even living here, but I was taking the bus out to the airport, probably JFK, I guess. And it was very early in the morning. It was a extremely early flight. So I had to take a bus at 2:30 or 3 in the morning. And I got on. There was the driver, one other guy, and then me. And I'm a sit in the back of the bus kind of guy. I've just been more comfortable there. I'm a back of the bus guy, right?
Same. No one behind you.
Don't want anybody behind you. But there was one guy in nearly the guy who was on the bus was in the very back, kind of. So I sat about 3 rows ahead of him and on the other aisle. So he's not even looking at the back of my head. I left his entire half of the bus open. So I sat about 3 rows up and on the left side of the bus. And I was sitting down for about 3 seconds. And he came up to me and tapped my shoulder hard. And I was kind of startled me because I didn't expect anybody to touch me. I was like, whoa, whoa. And he goes, nah, man, you can't be sitting this close to me, dog. You got to move. You got to move right now. You got to move right now. And he was not fucking around. And I was like, all right, sure. And I just sat up in the front. I was like,
what the
sounds
hell?
good, dude. Sure. I don't want to cramp your space. Whatever you need, sir.
He's coming off hour 72 of being awake, probably.
Oh, yeah. He probably was looking at my face as it melted into the seat. And he was like, I can't have this demon next to me. So,
Ugh.
Yeah, man. But I've been all over. I've been on planes, trains, and automobiles, dude. I was in Detroit. Have you ever been to Detroit?
I have, yeah.
Okay, so I got my dad's side of the family's from Detroit, so his sister still lives out there in Ann Arbor, where the University of Michigan is, and his brother lives out in like kind of like Pontiac. This is just an old town that used to have auto factories and middle class jobs, and now none of those exist, and it's kind of depressing.
Yep.
Yeah, if you ever want to see the other side of the American Industrial Revolution, just fucking go out, just take a couple hour drive around Detroit and see what it could be if all those jobs leave, because fuck, dude,
It's crazy.
It is rough out there, bro. I mean, I think Detroit has lost like 1 million people. Like it's like they're just over the last couple decades, 1 million people have left the city of Detroit, and no one is moving in really. The only people who are moving in are like white hipster artists who can now buy an entire block of houses for like $12,000.
They can buy an old train station for like $40,000 and make bike frames in it.
Yep. It's crazy, dude. It's fucking crazy. But yeah, if you go out into some of those neighborhoods, it's just like, we used to have like a kind of a family friend who lived in like pretty rough Detroit, and it's just like chunks of sidewalk missing, just like nothing's getting fixed. It was a black lady, an older black lady, who like kind of like helped kind of like raise my dad in a way, but we would go out there and visit her when she was still alive. And one time we got out, we had like rented a minivan, and we got out, and there was this black dude across the street. He's like, "Get the fuck out of here, you fucking honkies! Get the fuck out of this neighborhood, you fucking honkies!" And it was just like, oh shit, dude, we gotta get inside.
Yes, sir.
Quick.
Coming right up. See ya.
Sorry, just gonna go see this old black lady. I'm sorry, sir. Yeah, so Detroit can be pretty trippy, but we didn't really spend much time in Detroit. We mostly spent time in Ann Arbor, but went to a Pistons game, very fun, NBA game. You're not a sports guy, really, are you, at all? You don't really fuck with, like,
not really
sports.
I don't really follow sports, but I like watching football, but I don't really follow it.
Okay. But have you ever been to, like, an NBA game?
I've been to a couple Knicks games at MSG, but...
Okay. Well, that's pretty fucking sweet. But I don't know if this has, like, changed over time, because I feel like I remember them kind of... I've been to... Not a ton, but like maybe a couple NBA games. Like, I don't know. Like, I haven't seen a ton of NBA games, but I'm from Minnesota, so they have the Minnesota Timberwolves. So I maybe would see like one game a year, maybe. Like maybe if the Pistons came into town, or like we got tickets for something, whatever.
Yeah, the tickets are kind of around for those, right? You can get them.
Yeah, like. I didn't root for the Timberwolves, so I didn't really have any interest. But if the Pistons came to play, or like my buddy had an extra ticket, maybe I would go with him or whatever. So I've seen enough games over my life. But I feel like, I don't know if it's changed, because I don't remember this as much as a kid. But at the Pistons game we're at, like, I don't know if the American fan has just been so like bled dry of like their focus, but they literally play music the entire game now.
Really? During the gameplay?
There's never any like possession where there isn't a song coming over the loudspeakers, and they just change it every possession. So they have like exciting music when the Pistons, the home team, is on offense, but then when the other team, it's like kind of more dramatic and like defensive music, and it's just back and forth. Like, you hardly ever hear like the squeak of the shoes or like them talking, because I feel like I don't know if it's like we can't pay attention, because I don't like it. It's annoying. I noticed it immediately. I was like, dude, turn this fucking music off. Like, I'm trying to watch the game. I don't need this extra shit in my ears. Like, just, I want to hear them. Like, that's the whole point, is like, these are pros. I want to fucking see the game. I don't know. I mean, it's just strange. Like, so it's just like, just kind of upbeat hip hop music when you're on offense, and then kind of like drums, or like, defense, dun, dun, dun. Like, it's just
kind of generic, cool. Like movie score music.
Kind of, but it have to flip it so much because the possessions are changing.
Yeah.
And it's just lame. It's not fucking cool. Like, maybe people need that. Like, maybe a general audience like needs like, all right, I can't be I just feel like it removes the fandom of it because the fans are the ones supposed to be providing the noise. You're you're supposed to be the fucking like home court advantage. Like it's literally the people are rooting for one team in the arena. Like you're in Detroit, you're rooting for the Detroit Pistons. You should be providing the noise. It shouldn't be just some fucking DJ playing some fucking, and it's just weird, dude. It's fucking weird. Like, and I feel like they don't do this shit in fucking soccer, bro. Because those people are just loud and out of their minds. Like they're just yelling the whole time for fucking 90 minutes.
Do Americans just need like a constant drone of technological noise coming through no matter what?
I don't know. It's sad. It's really sad. Now, maybe it's because it's just a regular season game. If it was the playoffs, maybe they wouldn't do it as much. But I was just like, this is pathetic that, I don't know. I don't know how many people were there that night. Let's say 15, 20,000. 20,000 people can't just be noisy enough to be like, let's go. Like, like fucking do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was weird to watch because I haven't seen that. I haven't been to an NBA game. I think we went last year, but I don't remember that as much. Maybe it just gets more and more each year. But it truly, like, they gave almost zero possessions where it was just the natural noise of the arena in the game. It was always something fed into the fucking environment.
That seems like it would really interfere with the game. Like I feel
I wonder
like
if the players just get used to it. But maybe the players, it's just background noise to them. Because if it happens, they play 82 games in the NBA season. If every arena is doing it, they probably just get used to it very quickly.
Yeah.
And if you ever see workouts of guys doing it, they often have like music playing on in the background when they're like practicing or shit. So, but I don't know. It kind of like, I was like, ugh, God. It stuck out at me enough to like I made a note in my phone. I was like, what is this? Like, why is there so much music happening right now?
I have a hard time imagining that at any outdoor sport. But
they don't do that in baseball. They don't do that in football. Hockey, I don't even think they do it in hockey. I don't know. I mean, I think I've only seen like one or two NFL games, and I've seen like a couple hockey games, and I've seen a fair amount of baseball games. They definitely don't do it in baseball. Baseball, they'll just do like,
classic stuff.
But that's just like a one-off shit. They're not playing fucking just music while the game is going on. Like, it's just like, that's half the fun. It's like you're hearing people.
Yeah.
You're hearing the fucking vendors. You're hearing people yell. Like, that's why you go to the game.
In
like,
hockey,
like
you hear the the puck hitting. You can hear the ball hitting the glove. That's like the whole experience of a live event.
And I feel like in football, it's just so noisy. Like, people are just jacked up because they're football fans that they don't need, like... But yeah, that NBA game, bro, it was just like... It was weird. It was very strange. I'll have to ask. I'm going to text some of my NBA, like, following friends to see if they notice that, too, because that's crazy to me. It just, like, kind of took me out of it. The other thing that took me out of it is... How about this? This is, like, a thing that I feel like is more universal. Is fucking involved ushers, dude. We had this usher in our section who, okay, to me, an usher is really there to
find Justin Bieber.
Help you. Yeah, and find Justin Bieber. But they're really just there to help you if you need them, right? Like, hey, where is my seat?
Right.
You go up to them maybe the first time you get there, you're like, hey, do I go up or down, left or right? We're in the lower half of the arena, so whatever. They don't even have ushers in the upper half because they're just like, you're poor, wherever you want to sit is fine with us. Like, they don't give a shit up there. But the lower half, they like, I guess people have spent some money on these tickets, and so they're just like, all right, we need to be involved, right? But this lady that we had immediately is just like, we found our seats on our own, right? We were like, oh, we're capable adults. We see the row. We see, And she came up like 5 rows. She was like, yeah, I'm still just going to need to see those tickets just to make sure. And then we were like, here they are. She goes, yep, you're in the right spot. I was like, I know. You're not doing anything. Like, I was like, what the fuck do you want? She did this to everybody. People would already been sitting down. She goes, I just really going to need to see those seats, as if we were like lying to her. They would show up. She's like, you're in the exact right spot. Welcome to the game. It's just like, okay. And then not only is she like doing that when people arrive, she's doing that like throughout the game. Like, people will be coming back to their seats and she's just like, can I see your it's just like, lady, fuck off. You are not this cog. You're trying to pretend that you're more needed than you are to justify your fucking job here. Sometimes you go to a game and the ushers are chill. They're just like, if you need me, you can come up to me. If not, I'm just kind of a body here that looks official.
If someone's saying like you're in my seat, then they step in. Can I see your tickets?
Can come in. But until then, like, people can figure out they're in the wrong seats. Oh, well, we moved because we were sitting next to them. Do you want to take these, or we can take... Like, it's like people can govern themselves in this situation, okay? There doesn't need to be this godlike authority telling us, what to do. And also, it's like, there were so many empty seats that it's like, who the fuck cares really where anyone is sitting at this point? Like, the Pistons, you don't know this, but the Pistons are the worst team in the NBA, okay? They are when we saw them, they had the worst record of the NBA. They maybe were 60% full, right? It was not by sold out. There was plenty of empty seats. So it's like, look, bitch, you're lucky anybody is buying tickets to see this god-awful team. Like, people are spending their hard-earned dollars to see something that statistically they know are going to lose the game. Now, they actually ended up winning the game, but probability-wise, they had a much better chance of losing, and we're still paying to be here. The last thing we need is some fucking hall monitor telling us, like, well, are you right here? Are you right here? It's like, no. You should be kissing our fucking asses that we showed up to see this shitty-ass team right now. Fuck off. The fuck out of our faces, okay? This is not your world, lady. She's trying to do jokes with people, too, that really bother me. She's trying to be all, like, cutesy with people, like... like they have all this like forced entertainment between timeouts, like the dance team and whatever. It's like, we're doing a dance competition. Show us your best moves and you'll get on the Jumbotron. And she's like pointing at people like, let's see those moves. I'm like, no. And I get it. She's probably a lonely lady who just wants to connect. And maybe she got the job because she was like, I love people. I love to be around people, But I am not there for you. You are not why I'm there. I didn't buy a ticket to go see you. I don't want to ever be involved with you or the usher system. I want to be left alone to see the game. That's all I want. I'm here because I like basketball and I want to see the best people play it. That's why I'm here. I'm not here to fucking have a cutesy moment with you and your fucking manager haircut, okay? Shut up and move out the way.
You give some people a laminate and a walkie-talkie, and man, everything changes.
It's amazing that people have there is like in humanity we have this like natural affinity towards authority where we're like, oh, they must know what they're doing. But everybody has had probably a fair to most experiences are bad they have with authorities. Like bad experiences with cops, bad experiences with bureaucracy, bad experience with like local government, bad experiences with ushers. Like we have so many things where like, oh, maybe it's just another person and they don't really know what they're doing. But we're just like, gotta have them. We have to have this lady here. We have to have this fucking lady who is literally like a hall monitor. I mean, that's all she's doing is like kind of tattling on people if they're in like the wrong row. And dude, I got there like an hour and a half early because like I want to see the players warm up, right? Like I want to see them warm up. Like you get close to the floor, you can get like really close to them. Some of them sign autographs and shit. Like it's just cool. Like these are like dudes in the NBA. It's like a rare air. They're like prime athletes. Yeah. It's fucking cool to see. And they have this bullshit rule where like you can only be in the first 5 rows next to the floor, and if those are full, you have to just go back to your seat, right? So most of it always gets filled up with little kids because they're trying to get autographs. Like they're right by the tunnel, so the player, and it's like that's cool. I'm not even trying to get autographs. I don't give a shit about a guy sign. I don't have anything to sign. Like, I'm not an autograph hound. But some of these kids, like, they get their jerseys signed by the whole team. Like, it's the whole thing. So that's fine. But I was in row number 6, right? The first 5 rows were full, and I was like, there was nobody there. It was just an empty row. I was like, all right, well, I'll just stand in row 6. Like, yeah, she said the first 5, but there's no one here. Like,
it's in the spirit of the rule.
Right. Like, there's nobody here right now. And as soon as I sat in the 6th row, she starts yelling at me, sir, and she starts hustling down the stairs. And I hear her. I'm just like, I know this bitch is yelling at me, but I'm just going to ignore it until she has to come. And she has to come up, and she goes, sir, it's only the first 5 rows. I'm just like, yeah, but like no one is here. She's like, sorry, sir, you have to go back to your seat. So she like basically makes me march up, because my seat is like row 24 or some shit. All these rows up because I'm not in the proper little fucking box when literally no one else is standing there. I mean, and it's just like, lady, this is your life. Like, this is what you're doing. Who is the owner of the team going to yell at you? Like, I don't even understand. Who is your boss that's going to be like, hey, we saw that you let that guy into row 6 for 5 minutes so he could get closer. Like, it's just like, dude, you guys leech us. Like, the tickets are overpriced for how bad this team is. The food is overpriced. The fucking parking is overpriced. Like, you're just sucking money away from people who just want to root for their team. And then once they're in, it's like, oh, actually, like, instead of just having like an organic fan interaction or experience with these people and like being around, it's like, no, it needs to be regimented. It needs to be fucking, it needs to be rule bound. It needs to be this. And you're just like, dude, fucking no wonder this fucking stadium is only half full, you fucking idiots. Like, you're treating the people who are in it like fucking just like, let me get every dollar from you. Let me just fucking take it away. And it's like, yeah, like, no shit that no one wants to come to here. If this is how you guys are going to be, like, go fuck yourselves.
Yeah. It's just like rules for the sake of their, like, the reason that you have to follow the rule is because there's the rule. It's not because it's like making someone else's experience worse or it's dangerous or it's whatever. There's no reason other than,
truly, if a person was in like, hey, we're in these seats, like in row 6, they'd be like, oh, I'm really sorry, I'll just stand next to you, or I'll go a row behind you. Like, there's like, these people and I could have worked it out had that situation arise. But instead, you need this outside person who's like, well, I know, and this is my job to tell you. Like, it's like, you're wearing an orange Little Caesars shirt, lady. You're like, Little Caesars Pizza is like the name of the arena.
Oh, really?
Little Caesars Arena. So you're wearing an orange pizza shirt, and you're coming down as if you're fucking God. Like, cannot stand in row 6. Just, it ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna work out. So sad, dude.
I feel like that type of stuff does not happen in other countries. Like,
fuck no, it doesn't, dude.
There's no
I've
Spain.
been to fucking
No. They're like,
when I was in Guatemala and we would go to their soccer games, bro, it was fucking anarchy. They had fucking, they brought in their own instruments. They had a band. When the team would score, they would light off fucking fireworks and shit. You could climb the fences and yell. Like, it was fucking insane, and it was so fun. Like, it was like real people rooting for a team that mattered to them, and there was nobody like interfering with you. There was nobody being like weird. It was just like, yeah, dude, this is why you're a sports fan, is to let out this weird aggression you have, or this weird, like, it's like they understand it's like a thing that's like, these people care about this team. And I feel like in America, and this is actually true because my parents used to host, they had a few different exchange daughters from Brazil.
Oh, cool.
So like this is mostly after I left the house, so I only met a couple of them, but I was living with them for like a few months when they had one, and her Brazilian boyfriend came to visit us for like a month, and he stayed, or a couple weeks or whatever, and so they wanted to go together to see like sports games, so they went to like, I think, a hockey game and a basketball game, and he came back and he was like, yeah, I don't understand, like, it was so quiet, like, Americans are so quiet when they watch sports. Like, they just sit there politely and then they cheer if something big happens. But he's used to like fucking like Brazilian soccer.
Oh, yeah.
Where these people are fucking
crazy.
out of their fucking minds with passion. And he's just like, yeah, it's like so quiet and like you can hear people talking and like it's weird to stand up because people aren't standing up. And I was like, yeah, I guess that's true. We're just fucking lifeless zombies compared to you guys, you know? But so, you know, I guess people do observe that about us. They're just like, yeah, it's fucking weird. But
I was thinking
Yeah,
this
man.
in Africa, seeing like, because everyone wears those soccer jerseys with the like Qatar Airways, Emirates, whatever.
Yeah.
They have the sponsor, the like flagship sponsor of the team on the shirt. I wonder. I was thinking, I wonder if that will ever happen in American sports, where it's Pepsi on the LA.
They're
Rams.
already they're doing that.
Really.
Yeah, if you look at some like NBA jerseys, they have small things on their shoulders now. And the WNBA, because they lose money every year, those are like that. It's like full ads on their WNBA.
Oh,
yeah, because they don't make any money. The WNBA, I think, loses money every year. Like it's just a financial loss every year because the NBA sponsors it. But yeah, they have like full soccer like ads on the WNBA jerseys. And the NBA now have like little like I think the Blazers had like BioFreeze because Dame had like a deal with them, so they had like a BioFreeze little patch or whatever. But they're starting to do it. It sucks. I hate it. I don't like any ads on it, but it is what it is. You know, that's like anywhere they can stick that shit, they will.
Wow.
Do you see them? You know what I'm talking about?
I see it. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's like full ads, I think. But I also haven't watched a WNBA game in a long ass time, so I don't know.
Have you ever? You've watched one?
I don't know if I've ever watched one on TV, but I went to one. I was in a college class about basketball, but it was like about like kind of like the socioeconomics about basketball, which I loved because it was like I love basketball. And we went, and the teachers were both, it was like the head and the assistant coach for the women's team at the college, and they taught this class. And we went to a Seattle Storm game.
At the Key Arena?
At the Key Arena.
Yeah, that place is cool.
Yeah. Now it's called Climate Pledge Arena. Because I think like Bill Gates like renamed it or some shit, but yeah, it's like carbon neutral or some shit. But anyways, I went to one of those, and then I think I've been to one Minnesota Lynx game, which is the WNBA team in Minnesota. I think I've been to one of them, but yeah, not
quite the same, huh?
Not quite the same. They don't have the dunk, dude. I don't know what to tell people. If they're not dunking, it's just not as exciting.
Yeah, dunking is sick. I don't really like basketball, but there's undeniably it's awesome.
It's an undeniably cool thing to see a man dunk, to see a person dunk basketball. But the WNBA, like people when they like try to defend it, they'll be like, yeah, like it's a different game. Like women are playing it, it's different. It's like, yes, but then just lower the rims. Like just dunk it. Like just have them be like women can't jump as high as men. That's cool. Let them play on a fucking 9-foot hoop and dunk. Like, well, I don't understand why that's so degrading. Like, they already play with smaller balls. The ball it's a smaller size than the NBA ball. Yeah. So what? Like, that's acknowledging they don't have quite as big of hands. Okay, that's fine. Just lower the hoop. So, like, I guarantee if women, the women's league was dunking, they would have more fans. Like, it would just be, people would be like, oh, dude, you, like, fucking smashed on that other chick. That would be dope as hell to see. But instead, it's all, like, jump shots and layups. Like, it's like, what? This is, like, why, like, this is, like, a high school game. Like, it's like, no one is dunking. No one is doing, like, high-flying shit. You want somebody to get dunked on. It's just a simple fact of basketball. Because the dunk is out of the bag. It's like, no shit that they're going to watch the men who can dunk over the women who can't. Like, that's just like, you're always going to watch the more exciting thing.
Yeah,
it's
people
not
getting
like
knocked over, people getting, like, smashed in the face with someone's crotch.
Yeah. It's
fun.
That's what, we want to live vicariously through them. Like, we want, like, because, like, I can do a layup. I can do a jump shot, you know? I can't jump 40 inches off the ground and, like, slam it over someone's fucking face. Like, I can't do that, and I never will be able to do that. So I want to see a guy do that. I want to be like, that is so sick. But if it's just like a fucking game of layups, you're like, I couldn't do a layup as good as you. I couldn't like, I'm not saying I could get in the WA and score 20 points, but it's like I could do a layup. So I don't want to just see a whole league of layups. I want to see someone fucking yam on somebody.
Yeah, it's like what it would be like watching football with if every play was just a 10-yard post route. And
or
I
like
do that on
like,
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, or like flag football. You're like, no, I want to see a dude get like fucked up.
I want to see a 60-yard pass where he catches it, dragging his toe. Like that's the cool part.
That is the cool part. So, anyways, we've gone off on our fucking he-man woman hating bit here. Shout out to the WNBA. Let's get those dunks, ladies, and Jack and I will be courtside cheering you on in your sponsored jerseys. I flew back yesterday, and it was like an hour and 10-minute flight from Detroit. It's very quick. So I watched this, like, probably the strangest choice I've ever watched, because Delta has, like, movies in the back of the headrest, so you can just watch a movie. Like, it's pretty nice. And I was like, it's an hour flight. Like, I'm not going to even finish any movie. And so I watched this PBS documentary about sex trafficking, which is like such a fun choice.
The woman
always
next
fun.
to you is like, okay.
I know. There was a woman next to me, and and it just like the title's just like sex trafficking in America.
You're like, you want to share my earbuds?
Come on in, lady. Nothing better than a little sex trafficking doc on the old plane. That's what I've always said. But even in the sex trafficking doc, some truly funny moments, even in one of the darkest subjects. So there's it was about this like Phoenix, Arizona, like squad that the cameras followed for like 2 years. And it was some really horrific shit, like truly like the most vile fucking people doing this. But there's this one part of it where they're set up like a hotel sting, where they're like luring guys to meet supposed women to pay for sex. But then it's just cops, everybody's seen these.
Yeah.
But they have this shot where it's like 5 female officers in a hotel room texting and calling these dudes to like set them up, And it's all these like middle-aged cop women doing talk to text, but it's all this dirty shit. So they're just these married female cops, these Phoenix police officers with like bleach blonde hair, all in like their 40s or 50s. And then they're just like, they have their phone and they're just dead-eyed going, "What do you want to do to my boobs? Period." "Oh, daddy, no." Like, it's just all this like super fucking like risque shit, but it's just like, it was so funny because it's just all these ladies and they're doing it at the same time. So like the camera's picking up all of them being like, "Ooh, you've been a bad boy, ... period. It was so fucking funny. So, that's comedy right there, folks. Even in the darkest thing, you can be like, this is objectively very funny. So one of these ladies was doing it, and then her actual husband called about some question for the kids. She's like, "Oh shit, it's my husband," and she has to be like, "Hey, honey, yeah, we're just doing a hotel sting operation. I'll be back today at like 5. Yeah, the dinner's." And it was like so like, and then she goes right back to like talking to these dudes, like, "Yeah, like anal is an extra 100 or whatever, And I'm just thinking, I was like, damn, I wonder if she ever says any of this filthy shit to her actual husband, who probably wants to hear this. I wonder if she's just like if he's ever like, "Yo, let's talk dirty." She's like, "I've talked dirty all day. I don't want to do that. I just, can you just rub my shoulders and, maybe go down on me for a little bit? I'm just not in the, these poor husbands are probably just like, I just want to say some foul ass shit to my wife." And she's like, "You haven't seen the shit I've seen. There's no way. It's ruined it for me." Which it probably honestly would.
Yeah,
I don't know how you could. Sometimes I wonder, these people, how like cops are just like all fucked up in the head because they've just had to see the most horrific side of humanity, like seasoned detectives who are just like, "You don't even know what the fuck I've seen," And it's like then they just have to go back and be like, "Hey kids, Dad's here." It's just like they just saw like fucking 8 dead children that day, and they're like, "Let's go get some Chuck E. Cheese," And it's like, if you're only working horrific sex crimes, I imagine you'd be like, "Dude, Nah, I'm good, dog. I don't know if I don't know if I can do this anymore. But
Or maybe it's the opposite direction because like EMTs are like super dark.
yeah,
Very often,
maybe they're just like maybe they just get great ideas. They're like, wow, I didn't even know you could do this. This is hot as hell. This is so hot. Yeah, that's crazy. Wow, honey, I brought home a little technique from work today.
It's called
Pretty hot
shipping
stuff.
container across the ocean.
Yeah, yeah, it's called international sex crimes. But here's the thing I was thinking about. Check me on this if I'm wrong, but I was thinking like, so in the last few years, fentanyl has like gotten into the cocaine in America.
Yeah.
Like people, obviously everybody's heard about this. Like, oh, people do coke one night thinking they're just doing a little blow, end up they have fentanyl in it, they die instantaneously. And there's been at least one case there was this case last year in LA where this comic who's like well known enough, her name is Kate Quigley.
Mm-hmm.
She was at like a party like with a bunch of comics, and her and three other comics who I think were all dudes did some blow, and they all like she blacked out but didn't die, but the other three guys died like at the party. Like she woke up and they were all dead. It was a pretty crazy story in the comedy community because like it's just a web, so I would see people post on Facebook like, oh, I knew this guy, like it's so somebody knew all these guys, so I would see all these like RIP messages and shit. But yeah, so like 3 of those dudes died, and she like kind of escaped by a fucking, not much. It sounds like she was pretty fucked up, I think. But so a number of people, I had a comic buddy of mine who basically posted a couple stories on his Instagram, was like, hey, like, I don't know exactly what he said, but basically just like really scary stuff going on with all this shit, like make sure your shit's tested. And then he ended it with something like, or you could just not do cocaine. That was like his ending message, right? It was like, or you could just not do coke. And he said a number of people basically like told him to go fuck himself for suggesting that people don't do coke. Like that was like an improper thing to tell people of like, hey, it was like kind of like, don't go moralizing on people. Like, don't tell people what they should or shouldn't put in their bodies. Like, and I was just like, are you serious? He goes, yeah, it was really weird. I was like, but it's an objective fact that what they're doing is dangerous. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
Like,
it's the only way to be 100% certain you're not going to get fentanyl.
Yes, is just not do cocaine. Like, it's a very A to B argument. Like, fentanyl is now clearly in the cocaine, so the only way to not get fentanyl in your body is to not do cocaine. Like, it's a very 1-2 process here.
Yeah.
Like, it's not some. The way they were saying it honestly made it sound like they were just like, he said something about like gay marriage or something. Like, I don't know if 2 men should be, like the way that they were writing back to him was almost like, it's not your place to tell other people what to do with their bodies. And he's like, yes, he's not going into their houses and taking away their cocaine. He's simply saying, this is the only way to be safe, right?
Yeah.
It's the only way to be 100% safe. So, number of people say that, and I was just like, okay. And I feel like cocaine, and again, maybe this is just me as a comic, because I just, I hear about people doing cocaine a lot. I know comics who do cocaine. But there's this kind of thing around it where it's just like, hey, like, I know a number of comics who I would put in the quote-unquote woke category, right? Their jokes are woke. Their political ideology is very progressive. They get mad at you when you say a joke that is not woke or whatever. And yet they have like a raging cocaine habit. So not only dangerous for themselves because of fentanyl, but like to me, like it's, if you know anything about drugs, which I feel like in America, everybody knows enough about drugs to know like cocaine is a wash in blood. To get cocaine to the United States of America is there is nothing woke about cocaine. Cocaine is destructive in pretty much every, like, from getting it from the coca plant to cocaine to get it into your nostrils in America is such a fucked up process in terms of the mules, the cartels, the dead bodies, the payoffs, the fucking arrest, the people dealing it. Like every step to get it from fucking Colombia to fucking Portland, Oregon is bad. And people have suffered because of it. There is a wake of bodies. It's so bad for how the system currently works that, to me, also telling people not to do cocaine would be in line with, I would imagine, a progressive ideology. Correct? Like,
Yeah.
am I wrong in thinking that? Like,
No.
it's just like the same thing if people being like, oh, I see you wearing a new pair of Nikes. You know that shit's made with slaves. Like, people, that's like a comment that you can say no one's really going to stop buying Nikes, but at least it's like, you know where this shit comes from. It's a well documented that some kid stitched these up for $1 an hour and you gave Nike $150. Like, it's a known system that you can decide not to buy into or buy into. Maybe it's harder because it's shoes, but whatever. It's known. And if anybody gets mad at you for saying it, it's like, well, that's just you feeling bad that you're buying slave shoes, dog. Like, it's not on me. You know these are made by kids. Cocaine, to me, seems like it falls in the same thing, right? Like, you should be like okay with at least being like, you know what you're doing is supporting this game, right? Like, you can just say, fuck it, I don't care. But you can't get away from the fact that, like, most likely someone died getting this to you, someone died in producing it, or like someone got killed for moving it, or someone's in jail right now for, like, there's somebody suffered to get it to you. And I was thinking this in terms of the documentary, the sex thing, is because no one would really argue that, like, if you fucking paid for one of these girls, like, oh, if someone said, hey, if my friend made that exact same Instagram story, goes, or you could just not buy prostitutes, I think most people would be like, yes, we agree. But for some reason, like cocaine and these other things that, now, true, it's not a human victim you're fucking consuming. You're not taking the soul of a fucking 16-year-old girl when you buy cocaine, let's say. But it's almost just like one step removed. Like, there is victims in the thing. And it's just odd to me that, like, everybody universally can pretty much agree it is not morally okay to pay for sex with these types of girls, because these girls are not entering into it. They're not escorts. They're not like, oh, I want to do this. I'm free will. I don't have a fucking pimp hitting me. I haven't been kidnapped. It's not like a fucking, you go to the bunny ranch and they're like, I'm just here because I can make money with my body. These are fucking like teenage girls that this documentary was covering. And it was like some of the most horrific, like hearing these girls' testimony of what these guys did to them. It was just like, Jesus fucking Christ, you know? But no one would make the argument that it's okay to be like, hey man, we're just at a party. We have a couple, we're buying women from these street pimps or whatever. No one would be like, hey man, don't tell me what to do with my body, you know? But fucking like cocaine and these drugs that clearly have a pain process to get to you, that somehow is like been removed from the moral compass of like those types of people. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of a weird thing, but it just popped into my mind of like how this is clearly seen as a bad thing. We can all agree this is bad, but this other thing that's also very bad is just seen as like, hey man, it's just a party drug. We just do, you know, it's okay to do this, you know? I don't know. It just kind of like bothered me because I was just like, there are people who could have given testimony about fucking cocaine and what it's done to their life. Oh, my father was killed in Colombia because he didn't fucking cooperate with the cartels. That kid could give that same testimony in a courtroom if there was a documentary about him, and we'd be like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't do cocaine. But maybe because it's not like publicly out there or something, I don't know. It was just bothering me that one thing could be seen as this like, nah, it's okay, whatever. Yeah, maybe a few people got hurt, but it's like, I'm trying to get fucked up. It's a Wednesday night in Portland. Like, versus this shit, which everybody pretty much totally agrees, like, this is horrific, and anybody who's involved in this should fucking pay, from the person who kidnapped them to the person who buys. Like, it's like one to the end of the other. You're not a good person if you're involved in this shit. So It was a long, drawn-out thing that maybe doesn't need to be even be stated, but it really did piss me off when I was on the plane yesterday.
Yeah, well, it seems like your friend didn't even. He was just suggesting it as a way to be safe. He's not saying if you do cocaine, you're a bad person. He's saying, look, this is the only way to be 100% sure, because the truth is you can't test for fentanyl. The amount of fentanyl that will kill you is like a tiny grain in a larger amount of powder, and you only test the grains that you touch. So it's really not not really testable. But I'm people who are like that or have that sort of response, they just pick and choose what is okay, and then they have their issue that they care about and ignore the issues behind the other things that they don't care about, and that's kind of same as it ever was.
It is true. And like everything in America, like in some way has some, I mean, there's hardly anything that we touch that isn't involved with something bad. Like, so I get that, but I don't know, for some reason these fucking people just doing active amounts of blow and then being like, but I'm not bad. And you know what's bad is when you say a no word in a joke. Like I had those types of people. I had people moralizing to me. I remember being like, you shouldn't really say this, or that joke isn't good. And then I just looking in their eyes, I'm like, dude, I know you spend hundreds of dollars on cocaine. So shouldn't I then just be like, cool, if you don't want me to say that joke, stop doing cocaine then. Just like, I think you're hurting a marginalized community when you support a fucking blood drug. Just the way you're saying that I'm hurting some fucking group X when I say this joke, or this joke doesn't make people feel good. Like, these words, there's no way these words are doing more harm than your fucking coke habit.
Yeah.
But that's just like not seen as like a thing that you're even allowed to say for some reason, which is mind-blowing to me. People are just like, that's not the same. So, you know, whatever. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's what you're doing is way worse.
Well, it's a lot easier to just tell pandering, unfunny jokes that don't take any risk than it is to quit cocaine. So that's probably why those people are like that.
Yeah. Oh, hopefully they all OD. Hopefully they all just OD on it.
I mean, the chance is good.
The chances seem to be getting higher every day. I mean, every New York bathroom says, don't do coke in our bathroom. But we also have fentanyl testing strips at the bar. Please dark. Ask for one. Every bar has a sign there now where it's just like, hey, please don't, but we know you will. So if you do, come and be safe, because we don't want you dying in our bathroom. That would be much worse for us than just you doing cocaine in our bathroom.
That's one of the darkest things about it is like, you know, thinking back to school, like DARE and all that stuff. They spent years and decades telling Americans that, like, if you do cocaine one time, you will become a homeless drug addict and lose everything and die. And it just wasn't true. It wasn't.
No, these guys have all the money. But these have money.
But now,
like rich people.
But now, no. But just like, you know, if they that's what they said in DARE. Like, if you do cocaine once, you will become addicted, and then you'll become a crackhead, and blah blah blah, and then you'll die from it. And that just wasn't true. For most people, for the vast majority of people, that wasn't true. But now, the chances of you doing cocaine once and dying is actually a legitimate chance that's there.
Yeah.
So they spend all this time like lying, and people are like, it's bullshit. It's not true. Don't listen. But now they're like, okay, now it's actually really dangerous, and people are just dropping like flies.
Yeah, that's wild, dude. It's so crazy. I don't know. I mean, I tried coke, I think, twice. I didn't like it either time, so I just never did it again. But I mean, I know it's fucking. Some people, they get addicted, they can't get enough, and it is what it is. I mean, also, dude, being around people on coke is annoying.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I wish people would just be like, oh, I bet you I suck right now. I wish that would scare them straight instead of fentanyl. I wish they'd be like, dude, I bet you I'm gonna suck right now, or I have to do this line. I'm about to fucking suck. I was in Denver. The last time I was in Denver, I was taking a piss, and this guy, there's like this group of dudes. I think they were in a band, but they just like total 70s gear, like open vest, chest hair, chains, like just long, like Zeppelin kind of like knockoffs. And he just came in and he was like, yo, dude, mind if I do a couple lines in here? I was like, yeah, I don't give a shit. And I was just looking at it, I was like, damn, dude, you're just like ripping off Robert Plant in 2022 doing coke in a fucking whatever bar. Like, I was just like, this is all right, sure. Yeah, whatever, man. Have fun out there, kid. Rip those licks, baby. Yeah, I don't know. It's strange. I mean, it sucks because, like, now it's just like you either sound like an old dad where you're just like, don't do drugs. But it's just like, I didn't even care about the drugs. I just care that these people are full of themselves. Like, that's really what I care about, is these people are just full of shit. So if you want to do drugs, who cares? It is what it is, you know? But don't be also on top of that, be like, and I'm right about everything. That's like my thing, is really what I hate truly, is like, see, the thing about me is I can kind of do whatever I want and I'm good. But if you do anything that I don't like, you're bad. That's like if I could draw down the true character of the type of people I hate in this world now, it's that. That's like the drilled down version is, hey, no matter what I do, be it buy Nikes or buy Coke, I'm a good person because I have these good thoughts and I think these good things about these certain people. But these people are bad because they say this, this, and this, and they are evil, and they're on the other side of the fence, and they're not good, and they can never be good. And that's how it is. I mean, that is just truly reprehensible. And there's so many people I've met, probably because I lived in Portland, probably biased, but they live everywhere, of that type of person who's like, if I ever examine my own behavior, it actually turns out I'm 100% correct on everything I do. It's crazy how I can figure that analysis every time that I look at my own life and it's all good. But I look at anybody else's life, one example for their life, and they're bad, which must mean they're totally bad. And it's just like, you're a fucking child, dude. That's how a child thinks about people. There's no nuance. You're just like, good or bad. That's what mom tells me. There's only good and bad people. That's like a 5-year-old in church. Jesus likes the good people, and the devil likes the bad people. It's like, and these are the same people who hate religion. It's like you think just like them. I don't know how you hate them. You think exactly like a literal 5-year-old in church, learning about good and evil for the first time. Folks, thank you so much for listening to these ramblings. When you hear this, if you're listening on Friday, I'll be in Denver through the weekend. So I'm doing shows Friday night and Saturday night. Check my website, thecomedianjake.com. I'll probably be posting the individual stuff on my Instagram. Go subscribe to the YouTube if you have not. And as always, leave us a 5-star rating and review. Got a couple fun guests coming up over the next month, and we will continue to drop more and more fun shit. So thanks for subscribing, and we will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.